past the hour, so let's just settle into our meditation posture. And just know that however it is you're showing up this evening, it's totally fine. And we have all these ideas in our mind about where we should be at. But you know what? We're just where we are. We're not going to be anything more or anything less. It's just where we are right now. I think the biggest thing that we need to do as Westerners is just to accept where we're at and rejoice in the efforts that we have been making, working on our minds. This is a really, really tough job. So anyway, we could start maybe this evening by rejoicing. Just get your seating position organized, particularly the shoulders aligned with the hips, and just imagine you're lengthening your spine. If you are in a regular cross-legged position, have your sits bones raised. Hands wherever is most comfortable. Head is slightly tipped down, hinging from the top of the neck. And the eyes are down underneath your closed eyelids. Relaxing the jaw. Then take your awareness to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead and the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, and the jaw. And relax the back of the head, the base of the skull, the ears, the inner ear. Relax the back of the tongue. Just notice as you're doing all of that, how your face then responds, just releases more and more. We hold a lot of tension around our mouth, our nose. You can just release all of that. And then relax the back of the neck and the shoulders. The shoulder blades, relax the throat and the chest and the belly. And your limbs, hands, fingers, and feet and toes. And then bring the mind to the breath, just noticing the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. And then just be aware if there are any sounds in your environment, just allow those sounds to be there. So try not to follow them with your mind. And then bring the mind back to the breath and just notice what's arising, what thoughts are arising. Try and put some space in between them. Some of us have very, in terms of our relationships, some of us have really easy lives. Others have a little bit more intensity in our lives. So sometimes it's a bit more difficult to manage. So don't be too hard on yourself. Be kind to yourself. Try not to judge or criticize or have opinions. Just take a step back, put some space in between you and the thoughts, and be like an objective observer. Good to know what's there. And believe me, it's going to be an endless stream of what's there, because we've had not just this lifetime, but many lives before. So this consciousness is going to be running. So we just deal with what we can at the time. But we try not to expect too much when it gets difficult, thinking there's something wrong with us, when it's actually it's just a lot. So be objective. Try not to get caught up and follow. Just see that river. Sit by the bank and watch the river flow by, knowing that while you're sitting on the bank, you're free from the river. And then just very briefly bring to mind all those people of our life, our loved ones, the ones we find difficult, and then all of those strangers in our life, knowing they can change place. For some people, they change place daily. They're all the same as us in their wish to be happy and their wish to be free from suffering and having this amazing capacity for enlightened mind. So remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified, and this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we're creating negativity with our mind so we can equally create positivity with our mind instead. So we start with the power of regret, the first of the four opponent powers. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. So we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it would make sense that we pull out these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And think again, I'm sick of suffering. And then we come to think, oh, okay, so who can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we rely upon the Buddha, Vajrasattva, who we see as a doctor rather than someone who's going to be forgiving us. So he is a doctor who has the methods that we can use to purify ourselves. So you can imagine Vajrasattva is above the crown of your head. So he's facing the same way as you. You can make him as big or small as you like, a couple of inches above the crown of your head. So, but really try and feel his presence there. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher, if you have one, manifesting in that particular form for your benefit. He's made of radiant, blissful light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus on a moon cushion. And then he has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful, shaped like lotus petals, and full of love and compassion for you and all those people in your life. And he has a sweet red mouth, and his hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed around about his heart. They're not crossed in this particular image, but that's the way it usually is described. The left hand is underneath the right. So the left hand is closest to the heart. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, and the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people that you have maybe have harmed recently, and in the past. And then in general, all beings we may have harmed since beginningless time. And then think of people who have harmed us and think that because of the harm they've caused us, they're going to experience some kind of suffering in the future. So have compassion for them because of that. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the benefit of all these beings and for ourselves, and think I must purify for their sake. So we come now to the power of the remedy, and we start with the body. And imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Te. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is a purification of the speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, which overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can just imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatta Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe. So feel that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So now we're purifying the mind. So just imagine this time Vajrasattva very compassionately sending powerful light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around, enters your crown, fills your entire being. So just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you switch on the light dispels the darkness instantly. So it's the same here. The light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your depression and violence and attachment and neediness and grasping and bitterness and grudges and disappointments and wanting to control things, all of this instantly dispelled as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anurakta Miboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Supokaya Miboa Anurakta me bawa sawa sidi me piyata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajra me mutta vajra bala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita. Didu me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa. Anurakta me bawa sawa sidi me piyata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra hum te. So again, delighted. All your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified. And think there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine Vajrasattva very happily sends light and nectar, fills you completely, and it eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from the mind as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mipiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anurakta me bawa sawa sidi me piyata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita. Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa. Anurakta me bawa sawa sidi me piyata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita. Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa. Anurakta me bawa sawa sidi me piyata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita. Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa. Anurakta me bawa sawa sidi me piyata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita. Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa. Anurakta me bawa sawa sidi me piyata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita. Dida me bawa sutokaya me bawa supokaya me bawa. Anurakta me bawa sawa sidi me piyata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya satra aham pe. So now feel you are really completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So now again, first of all, rejoice in all of the efforts that you've made, no matter how tiny a progress you are making. Just rejoice in your own efforts, because we are only ever going to be where we're at. So we can't be any more, any less than we are right now. And we're generally a lot more than we actually think we are. So think of something that you're wanting to work on. Keep it simple. Keep the timeline simple. Between now and Monday. And Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind. Melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think my guru's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are merged. They've become one. So your mind has become one with the mind of the holy beings. So there's no room in there for any kind of delusion or negativity or bits and pieces. So just a little bit on emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. So we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And maybe the way things appear to you may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, because we want all of these teachers to stay around as long as possible, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And Palama's Purify. Oh, Tub Shul Chang Shin Jam Gon Galloway. Tenzin Kyang Pelaway. Konzo Dog Porze. Chog Sum Kurway Leg Mon to Drob. Dog sog dulaje gondu jab ten shok. Excuse me, for Lama Ursel Venerable One, to use kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors for those wanderers in far off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land. We make this request. O Lama, please live long. And for Geshe-Shera, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path. You're the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Okay, everybody. Thank you so very much. Thank you for hosting, Alexis. Thank you, Mary, for keeping your eye on the back door for anyone else who might have been doing that as well. And thank you, Hin. We love you. Thank you for inspiring everyone. You really are very amazing. Thank you very much. Lots of love, everybody.
Thank you, Venerable Katie.